This is not so much of a tutorial as more of a workflow for creating a spaceship with displacement mapping or bump mapping. All right, I'm just starting to come up with the way that I want to do this, so I'm going to record this as a way to, just remember it, and I'll show you guys, and then once I sort of perfect it, I'll make a real video about this. All right, so I'm in Blender 2.79. My screencast keys are on, and I'm going to start in top view, looking right down, and I'm going to go Shift A, Mesh, and bring in a plane. I'm going to leave it that size, and I'm going to go in, and I'm going to hit U, project from view bounds to unwrap it. Split my screen, T and T, and go over to the UV image editor, and you see I just have this. Okay, we're going to draw on this, so we're going to need another drawing program. You can do this in Blender, but it's easier to do in something else like GIMP. I'm not that good with drawing in GIMP, so I'm going to use Flash, but you can do the same thing in GIMP, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Go down to UVs, export UV layout, save this somewhere, like export video. Here I'm going to call this panel 1. Okay, export. Okay, now, like I said, I'm going to draw in Flash. So I'm going to start a new file. It's going to be 1024 by 1024. That'll be the size of my UV when I bring in by default. And change the background color to something I can see, and I'll make it like that. Okay, so now I'm going to import the UV. Panel 1, there it is. You don't see anything, it's the exact size, but there it is. All right. So I'm going to draw. I'm going to do this relatively quick, but here's what we would do. I'm going to make this 25 points a rounded rectangle, and we're just going to do it real quick, or semi real quick. No, we don't want a stroke on that. We certainly don't want that. I'm going to turn that off anyhow. Okay, so take this. Okay, so we're making the panel here. These black regions are going to be indented. Let's do one more. And black is indented, and white will stick up. Okay, so let's come down. Let's see where we're at. Okay, we overshot it. Let's get rid of that. Take these, and let's get rid of that. I don't want that. I want to do it. I don't like that either. Okay, never mind. It's been a while. All right, we're going to do that. And I'm just going to grab them and move them over here as well. And if it's off a little bit, that's okay. All right, I also want some white in there, so I'm going to draw some dots like this. Okay, let's say that was our first panel. I'm going to get rid of the UVs. I can reuse this. All the panels are going to be the same size. File, export, image. I'm going to call this panel 1. I'm going to overwrite that. Okay, full size. Now, here's where you could use GIMP. You could draw in Photoshop and blur it. Essentially, we have to blur it, and I can't blur it very well in Flash. So I'm going to do it in GIMP. If GIMP decides to start up, there it is. Okay, file, open, panel 1. Okay, there it is. I'm going to create a new layer by clicking here. I'm going to fill it with the foreground color. I'm going to fill it with a medium gray, and the layer goes above. I'm going to bring it down, and on this layer, I'm going to choose filter, blur, Gaussian blur, about 1.5. That's what I'm going to use. You can use up to about 3. Now that I've done that, file, export as. I'm going to call this panel 1 blur. You can call it whatever you want that's different than the original name. I don't want to overwrite that. Okay, so I've done that. Now back in Blender, switch to the node editor, create a new material for that panel there. Okay, I'm going to switch this to the principled, and I'm going to change the color down to sort of a dark gray, somewhat dark gray. Shift D to copy it down, and let's switch this over to a texture, image texture. Let's open that image texture up. Where is it? Panel 1 blur. Switch this to non-color data. Copy that and switch it to converter color ramp. Color to FAC. All right. There we go. And color to displacement. Now let's switch this over to material. You start to see something going on. You need lights, so let's make sure we bring in a sun. So you can start to see what's going on. One face. Cool. You can select that and go Control T if you want the mapping and texture coordinate nodes in there. We'll deal with the color wrap maybe a little bit later. But okay, so here's what we have. Now, let's close that up. And let's take this and let's give it an array. Maybe 6 for now. And I'm going to click merge. We're also going to need Subdivision Surface. And go for about 3. And I'll keep it on simple. Okay. And then we're going to bring in a curve circle. Rotate X 90. Scale it up. Select my main object and add the curve modifier and choose that. Now we can either scale this or we can add more panels. Let's say we go another one there, and then we can take the curve itself and it's S to scale. Bring it in close. I don't care right now if it doesn't join. We're not going to worry about that right now. Okay, so here's what we got. Which way is our top view? Okay, whatever, good enough. Anyways, so you start to see it. Let's select it and put on smoothing. Okay, now we're not done yet. I am going to select the curve and that, and I'm going to rotate X 90 so it's a better orientation for us. And I'm also going to apply the taper modifier. So let's go to Simple Deform, Taper, and if it looks all weird, go Control A and choose Rotation. And let's make it a little bit more spaceship-like. And you can see it's looking pretty nice. Okay, and there's that seam there, so we won't worry about that right now. Okay, let's maybe adjust you. Okay, well, and depending on where you put the light, that will affect how it looks. I mean, I know that sounds obvious, but okay. So it's taking it pretty good. All right, now let's select this guy and shut everything off and look just from the front. Okay. Actually, I'm going to need the array. Once I know that the array is roughly going to work, I'm going to go ahead and apply the array. Okay. I'm going to go in, select it all, W, remove doubles, see if there's anything. Okay, now I want to make a door. I'm going to select that one right there. I want a new material for this. This is panel 1. Okay, panel 1 is repeated all the way along. I want to make a door here. So I'm going to click a new slot, grab this one, not that, don't delete it. I did it again. Copy material, put it there, new, and paste. And I call this door. Okay, so I've got a new material but with the same settings. Okay, the UV is the same size and everything, so I don't need to do anything. I'm just going to come over to Flash or GIMP, if that's your choice. And I'm going to look at this, and I'm going to choose black, get rid of the stroke, and I can do this. I can make it centered a little bit better. And again, we're just going to do this quick. It's not necessarily how it would be, but let's make it like that. Let's center all that up. Okay, I don't like the way it cuts those, so I'm going to make it a bit taller than that. That might be too big of a door, but again, we're just illustrating the purpose. Okay, I'm going to cut, so I need to just make it a different color. Don't worry about how Flash works, unless you know. Okay, now I'm going to take this, and I'm going to shrink it down. And those are all cut, and I'm going to make it black again. Now there's more things you could do, but just real quick, let's throw on like a handle that's going to stick out. Okay, and let's copy one of these. There's the whole line. Okay, it's the whole line. So let's just take this and put a couple of white dots here. Not getting them even or anything. Okay, you can do basically anything. Okay, so there's a door. Now I would do more, but let's just do this. Export image. Let's call this door. PNG full size. Come over to GIMP or do it in GIMP. File. Open. Door. Okay, add the other layer with the medium gray. Bring it down. Select this layer. Filter blur, still in there, same values. Export as door blur. Export. Now we come back here. This is selected. Let's assign it. All right, but let's go over to the node editor on that material, and not panel one, but we got to come back over here. Where is it? Door blur. There we go. Let's switch back. I can see my door in there. Let's go ahead and apply all those modifiers. So again, not apply them, but turn them back on. Okay. And let's have a look at this. There's my door. There we go. Okay. Very nice. Let's come back out. So I think right beside the door, maybe right here, on this one right there, we will create a new material. Edit, paste that previous one. Sorry, now paste. I'm going to call this panel 2. We can go ahead and assign. Let's go back to Flash, and what to do, let's get rid of this, delete all you guys, and I'll grab these and see how well I can bring them over. Yeah, it looks okay. I'll do another one of those. Yeah, just make it any color. I'll do it like this. Well, actually, let's take it. And I'm just going to do 2 of them, like that. Okay. So, you do it any way that works for you. Did I already cut? I'll just draw another one in there. I realize I don't really like this little piece here, so I'm just gonna trim off a bit, and it won't be exactly even, but it'll be close enough. I can actually move this if I wanted to. Okay, you could do that. We could take one of these and we could paste it in place and bring it in, make it a almost white. We're just messing around here. We could put a circle, but I won't leave it there. All right. Fill that back up. Okay, you could do that. You could also, let's make this a different color here. Do something like this. Let's make this actually black. Okay, that's fine. No, let's make it a green. Let's cut those, and then we'll shrink it down a little bit. And we'll make it black. And then we'll put some text on here. USA. Let's say, I'll make that in white so it'll stick up. I'll just make it bigger. All right, let's say that's what we wanted. This is panel 2. Back over to GIMP. Open panel 2. Add that layer. Drop it down. Select that. Filters. Repeat. File. Export as panel 2 blur. Export it. And here we have panel 2 on. Let's go to node editor. Switch this to panel 2 blur. Okay, that's in. Back to the default view. You can see it there. Let's add all my modifiers. Okay, now that doesn't look that great. One thing we can do as well, which we haven't done yet, in the node editor, we can play with, where's that, wrong side, this side there, with this. And as I slide these handles along, you start to see the effects here. If I slide this one along, eventually it'll disappear, I believe. Well, maybe it's the other one. Alright, so you can, at some point there, it starts to disappear. Decide where you want to place those. So whether or not, maybe that's not really very good text to use. So you could also make, this doesn't have to be black. It could be a lighter color, whatever you like. But that's the basic process that I would use and go around, make panels, and then add other things on there. I don't really like it like that, so I think I would go back to this. Whether I go full out, I'm not sure. But actually with the darkness of space, where's the darkness of space here? Let's just do that. It might look best like that. Okay, so that's the basic method I think I'll be using to create what looks like geometry. That's very low poly actually.